so I look absolutely crazy. But I just watched the first episode of Secrets and the Sisterhood, and let me tell y'all, the Kardashians, they walk so these girls can run. The first episode, I'm like, okay, pass the torch, Kardashian, to these 10 girls. It's 10 of them. Now, there's only 5 of them on the preview, but it's 10 girls, one mother. Pass the baton. It's time for the Kardashians to sit down. They've ran a good road. They fought a good fight. They have all the endorsements that they need. We're still going to support them. You know, they will do like little YouTube video, YouTube shorts. But the girls are coming to take their place. I'm going to watch episode 2. But I'm already like, yeah, we need some freshness. They're a different culture. And I will... one. I've always wanted to do that. Oh, Lord have mercy.
Having 10 sisters, it's a tumultuous roller coaster ride. And when you're Muslim American, it's next level. The bond that my sisters and I share is completely unbreakable. All we really have in this world is each other. Our parents fled as refugees from Afghanistan in the early 80s. We were raised in a very conservative Muslim household. The elder sisters are a little bit more traditional. The rest of the sisters were born in the U.S. and we're the Wolfpack. This is first generation America, and this is how we're gonna do it. I'm Jamila, boss lady of the family. Shakur, take one. That's me. We call her Shagoogle. She thinks she knows everything. I'm Amida, the baby in the family. I bring the party. I'm Nuria. I go by Noor. I'm definitely a goofball. My name is Sadika. Who's the most dramatic? Definitely not me. My name is Khadijah. Religion is important to me, and some of the things that they do, frankly, I don't agree with. Your lucky mom is in here. And you have holes in your jeans. It's not that bad, guys. Let the shenanigans begin. You throw everything back at someone's face. You can kiss my ass. Can we take a break? Let's get really serious. Things go up, and there's certain things that cannot be unsaid. Keep it cute or keep it on mute. We all have secrets. So there is something big that I've been keeping from my sisters. If my mother ever found out, my God. The situation I'm in is nothing like how I was raised. I'm afraid of being shunned from the family. When you're dating a Sozada sister, you're having to deal with everyone. This man put my sister through hell. He's using you. He needs something. So you are some piece of work, girl. I'm tired of keeping all these damn secrets. I'm ashamed for you. Be ashamed of yourself. I'm done with this.
We're your sisters. We're gonna love you regardless.
Family above all. This is really hard.
It's a very deep, dark secret that I've been holding in.
We thought doing a reality show would strengthen our bond, but honestly, I don't know how we got here. Buckle up.
So, the reason why I showed this is because I hate to be a pessimist, and you know, optimism is supposed to be part of the Islamic way. You know, the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu salam, he was optimistic that his mission would be complete, and granted, he did complete his mission. You know, alayhi salatu salam, his mission was complete. You know, I mean, he did it. But again, the type of women he has supporting the mission, what I just showed you is a far cry from what he had to work with to complete his mission. And the reason why I'm showing you that, or I showed you that, and I let you hear the first woman, is because if you are, and I'm not saying I am, but if you are an old school Muslim man and you want a traditional Muslim woman who loves Allah and the Messenger, then I believe that hijrah is now going to be obligatory upon you based on this show alone. Let me explain myself. Number one, you know darn well the person who came up with the show was probably a non-Muslim. You know that. Number two, now that this show is on and is going to be on Front Street, and I hate to say it, but many people have Hulu accounts. As a matter of fact, I think more people have Hulu accounts than they do Netflix accounts now. Now that this is mainstream, I'm not saying that they don't do it already, but now you will have more Muslim women in the West thinking that being a boss babe is okay, thinking that riding a mandatory rooster carousel is okay, and that having multiple boyfriends and dating is okay. Therefore, you kind of, I want to say, decrease your chances at finding a suitable spouse based upon this show. Because the thing is, what's going to happen is that this show will social engineer Muslim women, and Muslim women are going to be susceptible to this kind of behavior. And now, granted, I think the case is that the mom has her hands full with that many daughters. Now, I don't know about the dad. Maybe he remarried. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he transitioned and he met his Lord. I don't know what the case may be. But even the older sisters who say that religion is important to you, important to them, you can still tell they were modern Muslims, like modern Muslim women. You can tell that, you know, if it came down to like doing a halakha, or if it came down to like janging Quran, like janging Quran, they wouldn't want to be doing that. They wouldn't want to be bothered with janging Quran. You know what I mean? Or they wouldn't want to be bothered with janging Deftere Fiqh Maliki or something like that. You know, they would rather spend doing other things. You know what I mean? Now, with that being said, okay, this is, you know, it's hard. It's gonna be a hard reality to swallow. But with this kind of programming, right, it's going to be pretty bad in terms of the gender war, okay? Because what's going to happen is that more Muslim women here are going to think, oh, it's okay that I do what they're doing. Oh, you have to take me as is, okay? That's what they're going to think. And then what's going to happen is they're going to reflect it back on the men and say, oh, well, you didn't step up as a man. You didn't put your foot down as a man. Not understanding that the way it's set up, you're not allowed to put your foot down as a man, because putting your foot down as a man could get you in jail. And what I mean by that is simply by raising your voice, women are incentivized to call the cops on you and say things like, oh, he made terrorist threat, and they have to take you to jail regardless, okay? Even if you did not, for example, incite any physical violence on the woman, okay? So if you have these kind of dynamics, okay, and they're pushing this programming. Now, granted, you know, Afghan is mostly a Sunni Muslim population. You do have a couple of Shias, you know, there's a couple of Shias there, but for the most part, they're Sunni. Now, granted, if this is what they are pushing out, what hope can you hope to have in this kind of dynamic, okay? And I know there are going to be women in the comment section and women in general saying that, you know, they're going to call me all types of names. They've been calling me all types of names. There have been women and men most of them have been belligerent men and women who have been coming at me. You know, a lot of them are coming at me. Okay, it's all good though, because here's the thing. I know this sounds crazy what I'm about to say, but to love something is to suffer for it. And for example, me, I love my culture, right? I love it, and I know sometimes I don't act like it by my actions or by my words, but I love Islam, right? And I love the structure in which Islam brings, and I love the fact that it is the ultimate solution to the problems, you know, if it was allowed to be implemented. The problem is it's not being allowed to be implemented because for whatever reason Allah just doesn't see fit for like the right leadership to take control and implement Islam. Example being the demise of Muammar Gaddafi, rahmatullah alayh. Okay, now with that show, right, it just goes to show you that they're not only doing one season, they're doing more than one season. Okay, who knows, there may be 5 seasons. Okay, so this is what they are pushing, and this is what Muslim women are going to see and then act like, okay, well, you know, I expect this from a man, right? They're going to expect like the behaviors and the actions of like that reality TV man. You know, now you saw the woman, the dude who she was dating, he was full of tattoos and, you know what I mean, like a Giga Chad. He was a Giga Chad. So now you're going to have more Muslim women saying, oh, I want a Giga Chad. Mind you, there may be a brother who Hafiz of Quran, you know what I mean? Hafiz of Quran, maybe, and having a high paying job. As a matter of fact, I knew one professor, his name was Dr. Hussein, you know, may Allah preserve him. He was a very good brother. He was Hafiz in Quran, and he was a professor at a university. So he had status, okay? But now, what may happen now is, you know, now Hussein may have to be like a Giga Chad. You know what I mean? Now, it's only going to get worse. And what I'm getting at is, and I'm not a mufti, I'm not a sheikh, or I'm not anybody like that, okay? But what I'm saying is it may become obligatory for you to make hijrah if you are to get married. Because the thing is, from a Muslim perspective, right? There is a hadith by the Prophet, alayhi salatu salam, where Nailado, alayhi salatu salam, says that anybody who migrates, like, deeds are done by attention, and whoever does something will get what he's intended. So if you migrate for the sake of getting married, you will, like, that's what's going to be what you migrated for. Like, and maybe, you know, with that being said, marriage could fall into the sake of Allah. Like, you're trying to please Allah, right? That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to please Allah with getting married. Now, what I want to say now, too, this is what I want to say as well. And I'm going to read from this text that I got from a friend of mine who was from Sudan. And the text came from a manuscript which the scholar was from what we know now as Cameroon. And he lays this out. And granted, this was like, I think, in the dawn of the 19th century that this guy is saying what he's going to say in these things. You know, I'm gonna get to that in a minute. But what I want to say, okay, I wanted to refute something that this idiot said, okay, and this guy thinks he's right at every time. He doesn't believe in making mistakes. He believes that he doesn't make mistakes. But there was, because I asked about this hadith myself. All right, this idiot, and I'm not going to name him, but this idiot said that in the Quran, they call black people raisin heads. And this is not mentioned in the Quran. Okay, what is mentioned is in the hadith is when the Prophet alayhi salatu salam said, obey the leader, even if the leader is Abyssinian with the hair of raisin. And what that hadith meant is that if someone is capable of leading, follow him no matter what, even if his appearance is that of that, like even if his appearance is like of an Abyssinian, of basically Abyssinian with that kind of coarse hair. That's what the Prophet was saying. He was not saying that, Nelado alayhi salatu salam was not saying that, this guy has a raisin head, but still follow him. No, Nelado alayhi salatu salam was saying that despite this guy's maybe starting off in the lowly status, he's qualified to lead, despite his hair. So follow him anyway. No matter if you maybe came from a higher status than him. That's what the hadith was about. And I asked someone from Sudan who knew about it, like, hey, what does this mean? You know what I mean? So that's another, that's neither here nor there. I just think that guys who think they know everything is an idiot. And I'm not going to address him anymore, but he had the audacity to say that Amilcar Cabral, he was part Guinea-Bissauan, when in reality he was born in Guinea-Bissau, but he had Cape Verdean parentage, and he spent, I believe, I don't know how many years, but he went back to Cabo Verde to spend his childhood. Then he went to Portugal to pursue a degree in agricultural engineering, and then he went to Guinea-Bissau and took on the job as an agricultural engineer for the Portuguese colonial powers. But that's neither here nor there. I just hate when people just think they're right without researching and trying to tell you something, trying to educate you on something that you've actually spent time to educate yourself on. That's what I hate. Just idiots. But anyhow, let me go to this text, okay? Let me go to this text. So, this text, and I'll give you a little bit of history of the text. This text actually was in regards to when colonialism was happening. Because what happened is during the time of colonialism, the group of Muslims were like, okay, shoot, what do we do? Like the British are coming, the French are coming, the Germans are coming, the Belgians are coming, the Portuguese are coming. They're like, what do we do? What are we supposed to do? Okay. And he said it, and there were three different options. The first option was, hey, we got to stand here and fight. The second option was, hey, we got to get out of here. We got to move somewhere where Islam is practiced and is safe and sound. Third option was, hey, we can stay here, we can make truce with them, and we can do we can deal with them on an arm's length. Now, concerning maybe it being obligatory to make hijrah if you are a Muslim who really wants to practice Islam sincerely, then I think that the Islam well, you may have to make hijrah, because here's the thing, and it says this in the Quran. Okay, it says this exact thing in the Quran, and this could be said about America and the collective West in general. Okay, it says, and treachery never ceases to appear from them. Okay, and also it says the Jews and Christians will never be satisfied until you follow their way of life. And I'll take it a step further. Keisha will never be satisfied until you follow her lead. Karen will never be satisfied until you follow her lead. Okay? I'll take it a step further. Not trying to add on to the Quran, but now, in this text, it's saying that you may have to make hijrah because of this simple fact. Because no matter how much information we give people, that we can't win the information war when there's that big machine behind the information war. They have a whole network behind them, okay? And notice that the name of this was the Sisterhood, okay? Which means they are part of the Sisterhood. So with that being said, okay, if they have that big machine behind them and we only have like our little social medias and we have our small YouTube channels and we have like maybe our small podcasts, then what are we up against? Okay, what are we up against? How are we going to win that battle? Now, I'm gonna close this video by saying that please make dua for me that I do get to make the hijrah, and I get to make the hijrah in the matter that I want to make it. Okay, I'm not going to reveal it, but I just want to, like, inshallah, I would like to make it at a certain time period, inshallah. Now, okay, I want to look for one thing that he said that summarizes this show. This summarizes what we see going on with the show. Okay. This actually summarizes it. Okay. Let me see. Now, say if you decide to make a truce, and that's what the sisterhood wants you to do, is conform. They want you to, the West in general wants you to conform to a certain way. Say if you do conform to a certain way, then if you are Muslim, then you're going to adopt their certain characteristics, and I've seen this happen, blameworthy customs, and you will imitate Europeans, okay? Then you will grow you'll grow fond of their customs, and you yourself will become corrupted. And we've seen this happen with a lot of the Muslim women here. Now, unfortunately, the youth will want to imitate them, right? And the women and children will, of course, be fascinated with them and begin to dress themselves like them. And you saw that. None of those women were dressed modestly in that thing. You saw them wearing tight jeans and everything. And it even looked like they got some work done, for that. And then the sunnah of the Prophet, Nelado, alayhi salatu salam, will perish, and innovation, bid'ah, is revived. So with these odds against you, you have to leave. And because I don't want the places in which I am going to, or in which I have in mind of going to, I don't want them overran. You will see me pop up in those places, inshallah, and I'll report from those places. But I'm not telling you guys where I'm gonna go, because of the simple fact I don't want that. I don't want to leave a quote unquote a paper trail, which will make those kind of elements follow me. Now, I want to say two things. Number one, to love something is to suffer for it, and maybe even to love something is to die behind it. And I'm willing to die behind my truth. That's the thing. Like I'm seriously willing to die behind my truth, as long as my truth aligns with Allah and aligns with Nelado, alayhi salatu salam. I'm willing to die behind it, no problem. I'll be a casualty. You know, I have no issue being a casualty. Number two, for all of the Jezebels and hyenas who want me to show my face, this is what I have to say to you, okay? And don't flag my video, but in astaghfirullah for me doing this, but this is what I have to say to you, okay? Both of them, okay? You don't deserve to see my face, okay? But anyhow, that's all I got for now, guys. Leave your comments, and if you have any questions, leave them, and I'll see you on the next one. Unjarama.